And this will warm you up because we are in the midst of tax season. Stay inside and do your taxes. First Ontario's Chief Operating Officer Mark Perkins is here with more on what to consider. And we're going to start off with a great viewer question. This question is from Bernice in St. Catharines. She asks, how is a T1198 form applied at tax time? What are the tax implications of it? And is it worth applying?
Yeah, so this is a bit of an obscure one.
And you actually had to do some research.
Yeah, I absolutely had to look it up. So, but it allowed us to segue into a general tax conversation as well. So the T1198, qualifying retroactive lump sum payments in an amount greater than $3,000. So what is it, and should you take advantage of it? So this is if you've received an award, a judgment, or a settlement from an ongoing process, whether it be an arbitration or litigation or negotiation. So when you receive that lump sum payment, the government treats it like income for the tax year you received it in. But often the root source of it has happened over a decade or 5 years or a longer period of time. So the T1198 allows you to spread that income over the period of time it's associated with, as opposed to having a tax obligation in the 1 year. Now, should you use it? Is there a benefit? Well, again, it depends on your marginal tax rate and the amount of the settlement. If it's $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, might not be worth it. But often these settlements can be in the tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. So if that's the case, you definitely want to try and spread that income over a longer period of time. But you do need expert advice on this. You need to run some scenarios and understand what the period of time, is it just 2 years or is it 20 years you can spread it over? So there can be a benefit upwards of 10, 20, even 30% depending on your tax bracket.
Okay, great question, Bernice. I didn't even think about that. So what other financial implications do we have to think of on a general term if we're filing taxes right now?
So tax time, for those of us who don't have a T1198, we still have T4s, T5s, T1s, T2s. We have our charitable donation receipts, RSP contributions. So it's time to gather all that information. And as we know, the government, provincial and federal, keep tweaking the tax codes and the benefits and things like that. So you want to stay up to date as possible to make sure you're getting every ounce of benefit you can. So the CRA website is an absolutely great place. If we think about 2024, they changed the capital gains rules. They added a new tax sheltered vehicle, being the FHSA, which we've talked about. They have a minimum income dental plan. They've changed the work from home rules. If you remember, out of the pandemic, everybody got a benefit if they had to work remotely or in a hybrid situation. Well, that automatic piece is gone. Now it's back to the normal one, which is you have to work 50% of the time from home for a minimum of 4 weeks, and your employer needs to issue you a T2200 tax form in that case. So again, CRA, they have a new mobile app. There's a live chat function in it, and just do your research and make sure you're not leaving a lot of money on the table. Right,
and speaking of that, it's really important that you do your taxes, even if you think, oh, well, I don't have any capital gains, I didn't make any donations or whatever. But as we saw with a number of rebates and checks that came out from governments, provincial and federal, if you didn't file your taxes last year, in some cases you didn't get them. So it's really important that the government knows that, yeah, okay, here's you filed what you've paid or what you're owed.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only that, if you owe taxes and you do not file on time, you immediately get charged a 5% penalty, plus an additional 1% per month. So if you don't file your taxes for a year and you owe taxes, that's a 17% impact on the amount of taxes you owe. And in fact, I've talked to people before who said, well, I don't have the money to pay the taxes, so I'm not going to file.
Ooh, you're just adding more money, right?
Well, that ostrich approach isn't going to win you anything here. So the CRA will actually work with you. And if you come up with a payment plan, they'll often do it interest-free, but only if you filed your taxes on time.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Well, if you have a financial question or topic you want covered, like Bernice did, email your questions to financefriday@firstontario.com. And if your question or topic is covered on air, you'll get a gift card from First Ontario.